My favorite part about that is Lana and I can see backstage, so we can see what everyone's doing, and Tajja and Audrey can't. So we're just like jamming in the back. That's my favorite part every time. Not to call y'all out like that, but I did. Welcome to The Cup, the currently unnamed podcast where the tea is piping hot and we are ready to spill. I'm Logan Murphy, today with an empty cup because I only had one drink and I drank it all before the recording started. So that's where I'm at today.
And hey, baddies, you know it's your girl Tajja with the fatty, here to get some tea for you and me. Period.
Because tea!
And hi, everybody. I am Lana, your resident diva, who really loves to. I messed it up. Never mind. And because you know what happened is, I don't even have a cup. That's what kind of day this has been for me. So, but it doesn't matter. We are here to give you all the tea in reality. So, there we go. Ship it to you, Audrey.
And I am Roxy Andrews, and I'm here to make it clear we are here to talk a lot of shit about this Penthouse season 4.
Yeah! Oh my god, this is gonna be a lot. This episode's gonna be a lot.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Period.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have a cup. I don't.
Don't worry, I don't either. I don't have a cup either. I didn't think about it.
It's okay.
Oh, I do. I do have my fan. Period.
There we go.
It's so funny because as a homosexual, I don't have one, and yet I should.
As you definitely should.
Actually, hold on. I have a standing fan. Does that count?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Not at all.
That's fine. Honestly, that's fine. It is hot in here, so we're gonna turn that up. But Audrey's back.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
You are officially the first returning guest to the cup.
Wow, so special, as I should be.
Yes, you should be.
This time for a thing that you were part of.
Yes.
This time is something more personal to you. So, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. If you did not check out Audrey in our Dragula finale recap, make sure to go do that because that was a mess and also a lot of fun.
Yes, it was fun.
There was a lot of wine involved on my end, so it was a lot. It was a lot.
It's okay. It worked out.
Yes. Also, I think we now have a trend of the most recent eliminated person in whatever part we're doing is the guest. Because in the last episode, literally the most recent eliminated person we had to talk about was Kyle. And Kyle was here.
Kyle did so good. I was so impressed by
great.
his interview.
Yes.
Like, truly 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And now we have you, so we won't spoil who's been eliminated yet, but that person come on the podcast. That person, you know who you are. Most people know who you are. But yes, so we are here with part 3 of our Penthouse season 4 coverage. I say part 3 because we only have one episode to discuss. Because
it's a very
great episode of television.
Very good episode.
Yes.
So let's jump right into talking this episode because I do have some questions that I want to ask Audrey about, but we can do that later. We can do that after we recap everything. So let's jump into the episode because it was a good one. It was a really, really good one. Things starting to pick up now, and it's what we said before. We said it the last episode that once jury hits, things usually pick up in most games. Well, Penthouse was definitely no different because it picked up. So,
but not before we lost. Audrey.
It's okay. I really do think Julia said it during my elimination episode. My elimination, I think, really opened up the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, because people were just playing so goddamn safe. Like, it was just like every elimination was so easy. No one was taking a chance. It definitely comes to bite a lot of people back later on where they should have taken chances and they didn't. But I digress. That's for everyone else to see coming up, I guess.
Your influence, truly.
I mean, Audrey, because like I know we said we'll ask questions later, but I want to ask this one question before we do get started in that, because you were like very much the name. Everybody wanted to say Audrey's name, and to me, I was like, why are these people on her neck like that? Like they obsessed. Like Mariah Carey took them to the better. They were super. Like, why do you feel like everybody was just like Audrey, 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 and it was so easy for them to come to the conclusion that you needed to go?
I think where, so I'm very much a person who I assume everyone else thinks the exact same way that I do. And so whenever I went into the situation, there were definitely people who I did not connect with, or who I knew I wouldn't connect with outside of the bounds of Penthouse. And so whenever I voiced that, namely about Laurel, I think that I voiced it to the wrong people. And because of that, obviously see Phaedra, and again, I did not watch the episodes because obviously I lived it. It's a little traumatic to go back, but I obviously was there. So, Phaedra goes back and tells Laurel, and I think that, but the problem with that moment is that I feel like it could have been okay, but again, people were just so scared to take that stand and use me to help, combat Laurel. Mixed with Keaton, like having some weird, like, when I tell you, I was like so annoyed because there was a moment, and again, I don't know if this was on the edit, but I was walking, it was the first time that I was put in the bottom, and I was walking out, and Keaton turns to me and he was like, "I'm voting for you." And I was like, I can remember that moment. Literally, I can like see myself walking out of that door, and I just remember, I don't remember specifically what I said, but it was something like, "Great, happy," and then I just like kept walking because I was just like, what the heck? Like, and again, I hadn't talked much to Keaton, so that was probably my bad. Like, I should have tried, because looking back, me and Keaton could have been great partners, I feel like, that nobody expected, but obviously that's hindsight. In the moment, it was so early, it was round 2, and for him to already be like, "I'm coming after you," like, you're... So I think it was just a recipe for disaster from there. Just kind of wrong place, wrong time was very much my whole MO. And also, like, I'm very likable. And so I think because of that, it's like, knowing that I am likable, I think people saw that as a threat as well, of being like, well, if she does get to the end, she could make a case for sure. So... But I tried. I tell you, I went to bed the first night with the worst headache of my life because I literally was fighting so fucking hard and nobody was trying to like do anything. No one was trying to team up with me. And the whole time, once I got put in the bottom, I didn't trust anybody. I was like, the little staircase alliance, I was like, y'all are fake. Like, this isn't a real alliance. I never thought anything that I was a part of was accurate. I thought they were just like appeasing me the whole time. So that probably didn't help either, but yeah. One of those things, I guess.
Yeah. I know. I was just like, why are they so obsessed with Audrey? Like, everybody was like, Keaton was, especially, then Nick was like, Audrey gotta go. But I understood Nick's reasoning more than I understood Keaton's reasoning. Like, because Keaton just came out and Keaton was out of nowhere, was like, "I'm voting for you," and that is that. And I was like, why? But then Nick was like, Audrey is like me. We play the same game. She's likable. I'm likable. We can't have too many likable people in the cast, because then who gonna put out somebody who they decide when they want to put out the likable people? I might be first, so I need to get her out of here before they start looking at the likable people. So that made sense to me, and I understood it after I watched it after a while. Because at first I was like, "Ooh, too much."
And I do respect Nick's point of view, because Nick is one of the only people who's like validated my game out of the whole cast. Like, everyone has kind of just written off what I was doing, what I was trying to do, as like a non-entity, like just something that just didn't matter, which obviously comes back to bite some people in the butt afterwards, but it's fine. But I really I've appreciated Nick so much in the whole experience, because again, he's just been very validating towards me in my game. So we love him. We stan.
That was good. I was giving where to if Tajja was going to say add a question or not.
Lana, you basically asked it for me. It was just real weird energy from Keaton. I don't understand. Maybe you did something to him in a past life. Maybe
I must have.
Maybe like you guys intertwined one time in the past.
You remind him of someone he didn't like, maybe
maybe
girlfriend,
girlfriend, or
a teacher,
friend, a teacher friend, something.
Yeah, something. Maybe he saw like a painting. It was like, that looks like Audrey. I hate this bitch. This bitch gotta fucking go. But
luckily, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, my question was, even after the whole jury the pre-jury buyback thing, and they're like, oh, they were kind of like downplaying your game. Why wouldn't they want to keep you around? Why? Like, this isn't me downplaying your game, but
totally.
From the way they were discussing it, how you were like, not nothing, but like you're not a heavy hitter. Why come after you then?
And that was my whole time going around on that final round, because whenever I went to that final round, I knew what the probable turnout was going to be for my round when I went home. Like, I'm not dumb. I was very aware that I was up against a big battle, but of course I kept going around telling people, like, use me. I am a number for you. I was like, this is the part where you actually have to start thinking about your own individual game. You need to start making a case for yourself. The pre-jury phase is over. Right now, we're deciding a winner in every move. Like, I can be someone who helps you get there, but just nobody was willing. Nobody was willing to take me up on it. It was so frustrating, but...
And that's how people lose the game. You always want to make sure anyone going into jury, you have a good connection with. So even if I knew, Audrey ain't got no chance in hell, I'm like, girl, I'm going to try. I'm gonna try for you. When you get eliminated, I'm like, come here, baby. Come get mama. Oh, I love you. I'm like, brush your hair back a little bit, push your glasses up, and be like, all right, I got her vote. We good now.
All right.
Yeah. And like, people who did do that, like, I would say Xena definitely, like, again, me and Xena never worked together, but I just had so much respect for her because she was on, we'll say, like, an opposing team to me, but she never, like, alienated me. She never made me feel bad. She never, like, fed me bullshit when she didn't need to, where a lot of other people did. And so I just love her so much. Xena is just a queen in all aspects.
I'm gonna ask it because I got my little mug. Who do you think did that, Audrey?
Definitely Laurel. Laurel is just a player who she would do and say things that just weren't necessary. For example, her card that she got from the bag tag challenge, her card was she can switch someone out of the bottom two, or not bottom two, but out of the bottom. That was her card. And so after the bag tag challenge, whenever I found myself in the bottom, she was like, oh, I would have switched you out, but I didn't know if I could talk during that time. And it's like, bullshit. Obviously we aren't tight in the game. You don't need to tell me stuff like that because I know it's not true. I know it's not true. So it's literally truly no point. And it was just constant stuff like that where it's like you, and I say this having had interactions with this girl, like and again, like, me and her, we won't ever be friends, not in a way where, like, we're just not two people who connect, period. And so it's just so unnecessary, some of the things that she did do, even like outside of the game on like a personal level. And so her and me just like do not click, do not connect at all. And also Nathan was definitely one who, like, there was a moment where he just would stop looking me in the eye, and it was during my final round, and he turns to me and he was like, and this was before his whole like squeezing my hand at my elimination and then like turning to me asking me for the switch. He, like, whenever we were still talking, trying to figure everything out, he turned to me and he was like, hey, so like, if it doesn't work out for you this round, like, I think I really do need that switch. And I was like, but you're telling me that and obviously I was aware that like the chances of me staying were slim, but it's like, don't undersell me before I'm out the door type of situation, like, I'm still very much in this game. Like, I was never gonna do that. I was never gonna give him the switch.
That was my question. That was literally, I told Tajja and Logan, I said, when she gets here, that is my question. Like, because me personally, I found that tacky. I ain't gonna lie. I said it before when he did it. I said that's kind of tacky, kind of move. I said, but if it worked, then was it tacky? But when he did it and I watched that last episode, I was like, oof, that's kind of tacky to do that to somebody on their way out the door, because not only are you leaving that nasty taste in their mouth, like I already know you gone. So, but can you give me the switch? To me, I'd have been like, ugh, no. And then I would be like, and for that reason, if you do make it to the end, I will never vote for you because I find you tacky. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
But so I was like, but on the flip side, if it worked and you actually did decide, you know what? He asked for it, I'll give it to you. Then it's a strategy. But
totally.
And I feel like there's a different way to approach that, though.
Like, most definitely.
I'm gonna try and fight tooth and nail for you. Is there anyone like, if you did give me the switch, should I like mess over if you don't make it's just ways you butter someone up before you send them to, especially since let's keep it a buck. Everyone kind of already had an idea that you were going.
Totally.
Especially if Nathan were to say that to you, I'd have been like, let me butter Audrey up real quick and then be like, okay, she'll hit me.
I mean, but even in that way, he could have said it different. Like, even if they were like, if he knew 100% he was safe and you were going out the door, he could have been like, hey, let's make a pact. Whichever one of us leave, we can give each other the switch.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That way it wouldn't have been so so grossed me out, like not very cringy. I mean, the way you say things matters to people.
Yes.
And so if he would have been like, let's make this pact, girl, me and you, since it looked like it's coming down to the two of us. If one of us, whoever leaves, we can give each other the switch if they're in trouble the next round. And so then it wouldn't have came off so like, like, I know you gone, give me that switch because I'm gonna need it.
Because there was a moment, so, obviously, this is kind of jumping ahead in the episode, but I think Edmund played it really well, because there was a moment that I didn't watch, so I don't know if it was on the episode specifically, but there was a moment where it was right before the vote was about to happen, and I just turned to Edmund. I probably looked so pitiful. I was like, Edmund, please. Please tell me, is it me? Just so I could prepare. And obviously, again, I knew that it was most likely going to be me. But when people are feeding you bullshit, it's like you start to question. But I was like, please just let me know. Is it me? And he turned to me and he was like, yeah, girl, it's not looking good. And so that, to me, I was like, at least he's giving me, he's not bullshitting me. He's like,
right,
it's looking like it's you. And also in that episode, because I watched the goodbye messages, because someone messaged me and was like, you should watch your goodbye messages. And Phaedra mentioned how her and Jada came up to me and let me know. I don't remember that. So maybe they did, but I don't remember that happening.
Yeah, no. So because you haven't watched, I want to enlighten you.
Yes.
That's quite literally the entire sequence leading up to you walking out the door is Phaedra in confessional talking about this entire moment that happened.
And again, I will say, a lot of my Penthouse experience, I've tried to black out of my memory.
Sure.
But I feel like that's something I would have remembered. And not in a way that I don't think that Phaedra is intentionally saying this because she I don't think it's anything like that, but I don't remember that happening. So when I heard someone texted me this, I was like, wait, what? I don't remember that happening at all. But also they didn't need to tell me that I was the one on the way out, because I was very aware of what the option was. But I don't remember that.
Work.
I mean, I feel like that'll be something you remember. I think that'll be a big conversation that two people pull you aside and say, hey, sis, by the way.
Especially because it's two people.
It's two people.
Allegedly.
And saying, hey, girl, we're going to have to vote you out because you're bringing us down. A conversation like that is something you remember. I don't think anybody will be able to forget somebody telling them that they are bringing them down. And so they had to cut the dead weight. Bam, bam. Literally, you cannot say that to somebody.
And we talked about it last week. I was like, I felt so bad because that's just I don't think Phaedra meant it that way, but that just sounds harsh.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think, the only thing I remember, the last thing that I remember trying to say to Jada specifically, I I was concerned for her moving forward just because I knew that they had put votes on her in a last round. And that's why I've gone back and questioned whether or not I should have said to put the votes on Jada or to put the votes on Nathan. I stand by Jada just because they did put votes on her in the past. And I've tried to do like the numbers game. If I had said Nathan, the best I would have had was a tie, I think. And that's the absolute best I would have had was a tie. And then nobody would have kept me in a tie. But with Jada, there was a chance that people were like, okay, like maybe we'll go with her over me. Because I thought about that. I'm
especially because she's a
returner.
Especially because she's a returner.
Totally.
She had votes on her prior. She'd been in a
Totally.
tie. She'd been in a few ties. Like, yeah, I definitely would. I definitely also stand by your decision, having not been there and only seeing an edited reality TV program on YouTube. But I would say like that was probably the smarter move, only because Nathan was, and we'll talk about it throughout this entire episode, more connected in a lot of ways than what Jada is. Jada was. So I definitely think going for Jada probably was your smart.
My one regret is that I should have told Keaton that I would be his switch or the defender.
Yes.
I would have been his defender because clearly he did not feel like he had anyone. But I think about this. I'm like, I could have been like, Keaton, this is our moment. Like, we can make a connection here. That is my one regret. But in the moment, like, why would I think that? Why would I think that he would? Why would I think that?
Do we think Keaton would have chosen you in any universe?
He's claimed that he would.
I think
after we've made up. So
I think he probably would have in that moment. If you would have said something, I feel like he probably could have because he didn't have anyone. Nobody was willing to step up and do it. Now, the question is, though, if he did choose you, would you have saved him for that moment to say?
Absolutely not. Especially knowing what the power was. Switching someone out at the bottom, there's no way in hell I would have saved him. Love you, Keaton, but there's no way I would have picked power 100%.
Yeah,
that would have been incredible.
That would have been a movie to watch because I felt like he would have deserved it after the way he came at you. Like he would have deserved it.
It would have been so good. I think about that. It would have been so iconic, but
I was right about that bitch.
Like when Mona did it, it was kind of like, okay, whatever. It wasn't as impactful to me as if you would have been able to do it and be like, poetic justice. This man has been coming for me since day one. So what I'm going to do is,
I also think the kitchen sink would have been a better defender choice for Keaton than Mona Lisa was. Like honestly,
it was just very anticlimactic. But okay, we move.
We digress.
Diving into the game.
Yes. Audrey's gone. Bon voyage, Audrey. You know, she's out the door.
The roses, we throw the flowers.
We give you all your flowers. You're out
the Sasha Velour. I feel so emotional.
Audrey's gone. So then we move on to the next
some confusing bullshit. I would like to talk about this confusing bullshit. First of all, I would like to say Banishment, because I know you watch our videos, Banishment. I see you. We love the new edit. By the way, the new revamp, fabulous, amazing. This intro, bullshit. Because we go straight into the round 5 VIP challenge. And all of a sudden, they're drawing balls out of a bag. And then all of a sudden, Edmund has this blue ball in his hand. And all of a sudden, Julia is now in the guest list without the competition having, like, none of the competition has been played, and Julia is in the guest list. So, Audrey, I was hoping you had some clarification.
I do. So, again, at this point, they let us watch every single competition post-elimination. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll stop talking there because I don't want to spoil anything. But they let us watch every competition post-elimination, which again, I love. Like, again, of course I wanted to win, but I loved being in jury because the moment that I was out. I was like, oh,
Just
the
relax.
relief. And even walking into jury, I had maybe like one word with Keaton where I was like, Keaton, what the hell? Like, why would you do this to me? But then we were good. Like, we were fine. But they let us watch every competition. And so how I understood it, I don't remember the part where Julia was safe, but this competition, I remember it was like they were in partners.
Yeah.
And so they just, one person had something at the top and one person had something at the bottom, and they had to like talk with one another to decode a message or something like that.
Yeah, so it was one of those puzzles where it's like you have to find the first name and the last name of the person.
Yes.
Because I knew exactly, because Austin in confessional was like, I grew up doing these puzzles. And he was like as a teenager, and I'm like, bestie, you're still a fetus. Anyway, but no, it was like one of those things where it's like Lana's last name is not Malik, so you can cross that off, and that's not a possibility. And like Logan's last name starts with a letter between C and R or some bullshit like that. So like I understood the puzzle in that regard. The confusion is just all we're getting is confessionals. But we see this like view of everyone in a semicircle choosing a ball, and then Edmund has a blue ball, which I assumed because no one else had a blue ball. And it seemed like Edmund then had the power to put anyone he wanted into the guest list.
And that's exactly what it was. I got that. It was whoever pulled the blue ball gets to put who they had the decision to make to put somebody in the guest list. And he chose Julia at that time to put into the guest list.
Which we love. We love that.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that. And it just, I think it was more so to give the VIP a little less power. Instead of putting two people in the VIP in the guest list, they only had one person to put into the guest list. So, I mean, I wasn't confused by that. I just was like, they could at least told us what was happening. But I figured it out, you know.
It takes, like, love y'all on production. It takes 30 seconds to record a voiceover. It takes 30 seconds to put a thing on screen saying Edmund got the blue ball, therefore he was able to put someone in the guest list and chose Julia. I will say, I appreciate it. There were like subtitles in parts of the episode where there was horrible audio, and I appreciated that.
Yes.
But like we're getting there, is what I'm saying. We're getting there, and I appreciate it.
It can only get better, I feel.
Yes. So the pairs that we end up with are Austin and Nathan, Robin and Edmund, Laurel and Jada, Phaedra and Xena, and Nick and Mona. This was because of the ball, the choosing a ball out of the bag. Mm-hmm. And then each pair had to decide who was going to play for the VIP and who was going to play for a secret advantage. Because only one person out of the partnership could compete for the VIP, and that was the person ultimately that was doing the puzzle at the top.
I have a question, Logan. Were the pairings random, or how did that work?
Yeah, so everyone pulled the ball out of their bag. So if Edmund hadn't saved Julia, then I assumed the pairing would have been Robin and Julia. But because Edmund
Dream team.
Honestly. But because Edmund chose Julia to be on the guest list, Julia then didn't play the comp because there were 11 people, and Edmund took her spot with Robin.
I'm sorry, when I saw it was Austin and Nathan paired together, I knew they were going to get it. Because Austin, I know a lot of people know this, but I don't know people who played the game with Austin know. Austin literally has this whole community he created called the Stan Brother community, where he has made games like this. He has hosted season after season. He became like not big on YouTube, but I think he did it to where he could do ads and
pretty big. Yeah,
Austin's like, that's why when Austin got first boot, I was disgusted. And now that Austin devastated, I was like, I feel like he has the tools from watching. God, from the seasons and the sleepovers that he's hosted, well over 50, 60 people strategize, do this, do that. I think Austin has a good shot of making it to the end now, just strictly based on knowing these type of challenges, knowing how to do all this. And so when I saw it was Austin and then Nathan, who's in this like headspace of go, 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 I was like, oh, y'all in for it. Y'all in for it.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
All of that. All of that at once simultaneously. Yes. I still love having the designation of having Austin be the first boot of the only official game I've hosted. That's one of my favorite things that's ever happened. I love you, bestie. Just because he has Stan Network, and like I never got to do anything with Stan Network. Bring it back, Austin. But
I don't think he ever will.
I know, but bring it back, bestie.
The relationship with Austin is also one that I'm like, fuck, like because Austin and I share a love for K-pop. We are literally traveling to Atlanta together to see a K-pop concert.
Oh.
So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, because one of my strategies going in was like wearing different things that I felt like could connect me to people. For example, on my Crocs, I had a K-pop charm. And so I was like, if someone likes K-pop, like this could be something that bridges us together.
That's smart.
But I guess
Very
and like my shirt for the first challenge was Jada Essence Hall. So I was like, if anyone likes Drag Race, like that can connect me with them.
Winner.
Nobody took the bait, but it sucks because I would have been ride or die for Austin if he had told me that he was a once before anything happened. Like that's all I need to know to ride with you forever. But we didn't get to connect in that way, so I'm so pissed. But it's fine.
My favorite, I talked about it in our last episode, but my favorite moment of the season thus far has been you comparing yourself to Roxy Andrews for the entire round where you were eliminated. It's just like
3 times. Come on, just. I'm like
Roxy Andrews, and I'm here to make it clear, like
truly. And it's the type of thing where I was very thrown off by the switch situation in that round because the plan was for someone to switch Edmund into the bottom, and then he would be the one who was voted out. And so when that didn't happen, I was like, and that's why it took me so long to say a name, because I was like, what the fuck? Like I thought, like I had no idea at that point because I was very thrown for that part of it. But yeah.
Sure.
I tried to go into fight or flight.
That, and I feel like this is very Jersey Shore and who wrote the note type, but we'll go through the game and how it went, who won, and all that.
Yes. So, like we said, it was a puzzle where one player had all the clues, one player had the visual of what was happening. They had to communicate. I love Robin in confessional when they're just like, admin has a loud mouth, so I know he's going to be able to communicate all of these things very easily to me. And then the whole time, they were both just incredibly confused. The whole time. And then before the comp starts, I want to talk about this as well. Mona trying to get Robin and Nathan to throw the comp.
I found that to be very very much tacky, because I mean, I get it if we're like besties, we're working together. Like if we're in this super tight, super structured alliance, that you have the audacity to come up to me and say, hey, throw this challenge, just give it to me. Like, why would I do that? Even if you tell me I'm 100% safe, you want me to completely throw a challenge and give it to you. I don't know that I'm 100% safe with you. Nobody really knows that they're 100% safe with anybody. So you're literally telling me to put my game in your hands and trust that you're going to keep me. No, sweetheart, no. Boo-boo cakes, no. Because I don't trust anybody in this game at 100% at that level. Like, even my closest ally is not 100% getting all of my trust in any game ever, because you can always get something else in your ear to switch and
we'll talk about 100% trust later.
I know.
Here's the thing, adding on to what Lana was saying. Why would you tell someone at the beginning of the game, when you talk about throwing a game, if it's me, Lana, and Logan? And I'm like, that's when you make deals like, guys, like, come on, like, if you, like, you always see in like Big Brother games when it's like the wall hanging or the standing things, and there's like 2 or 3 people. Hey, if you do this like 100%, not the beginning of the game.
The top 6 from the water balloon challenge, perhaps.
I mean, you don't even do that before the game even started, because like, I don't even know what the game is, and you telling me to throw it? Like, no.
Yeah.
I just when she did that, I was like, wow.
Especially when there's so many other teams, it's like, okay, if both of our teams throw and you don't win, Now we're all in danger.
Now we're all
now we done gave it to this person, and they ain't made deal one with none of us.
Ain't mathing.
The math ain't. It is not. And I'm like, it just seems very to me to ask me to do that for you in any type of game when we haven't solidified anything with the rest of the team. Like the rest of the group don't know what. It was much too much. It was too much, and I feel like that because of that, and then the rest of this episode, it kind of left me looking at Mona Lisa with the side eye. I was just like, still, I don't know. That's just me. Like I said, that's just me. I kind of was looking at Mona, like at the beginning when it was fine because I'm like, Mona's just playing. Mona's doing, what Mona's doing. But then this episode here made me do like the scratch my head, side eye kind of emoji, like, girl.
Okay. But yeah. I love also Robin deflecting, being like, if I lose this comp, I want to lose it because I'm not good at it. And
Robin was not there for that. Robin was like, I'm not doing it. No, I want to play. And that's what I do love about Robin. Robin made sure that they were going to tell her, no, I'm not throwing this challenge. It's not happening. But did it in a way where it was like, no, I don't really want to because I wanted to do it on my own merit. When all actuality, actual factuals, Robin was like, hell no, I'm not throwing this challenge. You crazy.
No,
you
crazy.
Right, you crazy. But she was just like, but they were kind of like, oh no, because I want to win it on my own merit. I want to be able to put my,
you can't ask someone to throw a challenge. Like we ain't been in
this kind of
long. You're not my a super huge close ally to where I know I can 100% trust you. And it's the beginning of the game. I looked them on and like, bitch, if I ask you, you won't throw for me. Why don't you throw for me?
Yeah, totally.
I actually that makes me think of a question kind of off topic. I meant to ask Kaya last week and I didn't, but I'm curious if you know, Audrey. Did Robin express to y'all that they use they them pronouns during the game at all?
To be honest, I don't remember.
Okay.
I do not remember.
Because I noticed so many times in confessionals, especially, people referring to them with she, her pronouns. And I'm just not sure whether it's just that they didn't express that or what like the situation was. But a lot of people seem to be using she, her pronouns in reference to Robin in confessionals a lot. And like, it's probably just because Robin is a very good friend of mine.
Totally.
That I was like,
of course.
Are y'all being disrespectful or did y'all just not know?
But I also know Robin like will tell people they them, but if someone like says it, like some people like will be like they them, it's they them. They them, and which like I mean like yeah, it's understandable. Robin's more like laid back when they'll say I go by they them, please blah blah blah. But if someone says like she her, they'll like sometimes they'll say something, sometimes they won't. Which me, I'm like, bitch, I said she her. Don't you know what I mean? So it's
yeah. That was just something that I just was confused on and wanted like clarification if I could get it.
Totally. I think there was a moment where it was because sometimes the votes would take so long. And so I think there was a moment where we went around. I don't remember everyone who was there specifically, but I believe I remember. And of course, Robin, if I'm fucking up what you said here, please correct me. But I'm pretty sure they said they, them. But if someone says she, her, then it doesn't offend them. I think that's what I heard them say. Okay. That's what I remember. But of course, Robin, if I'm saying that wrong, please correct me.
I mean, I feel like that probably might be something Robin would say because Robin is the type of person who, because from the time that I've known Robin, like it's been at the beginning when I first met Robin, it was like she was she, her. And it was, that was thing. And then midway, and once we related, she changed to they, them. And so I think Robin is the kind of person like, I'm not going to flip out over pronouns, but this is what it is. If you say this, please, respect that. But if you slip up, as long as you can correct yourself, and it's not a constant like she, when I'm telling you they. So I think that sounds about right with Robin.
And I think I remember them posting on Facebook post filming a post about how they prefer they them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I remember seeing that post
filming. That was the other thing, because like I've known them for so long that I don't know whether that was in the transitionary period between them using she, her, and they them. So that's another thing. Robin, if you'd like to comment and clarify, I would appreciate it. I could have just DM'd you, but I didn't. So now we're gonna have a multiple minute conversation about your pronouns. It's fine. But no, I understand that too. As someone who very recently started using he, they, I understand that like wholeheartedly. I get it. Like it is. I understand the situations because it's everyone has their own.
Yeah, some people take it very personal and very seriously, and it's like, please respect my pronouns, and you should respect it. But some people are like, look, I understand how society sees things and how society sees people, and so when you think about it, you got to give people a moment to adjust their mindset, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to even happen in a couple of days. You just have to really, really think about it sometimes, because I know. I am learning still to this day. I didn't used to use they, he, they, or she, they, or any of they in my entire life. I'm 43 years old. You can't crack a wall. You can't break my joint and expect it to heal overnight. So give me a minute to break those habits and let it heal so I can remember in my mind, some people like they, them. Some people like they, them. And then some people who look like he, her, or he, they, or he, him, want to be she, her. So I have to, it's a lot. And we just have to give people a break.
This is your daily dose of tea from the cup.
And what we know for sure is that it's they them. So what we from here forward, we know it's they them.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing I've appreciated out of the Penthouse from the start, to like conclude the pronoun discussion. Sorry for taking this on a tangent again, but
no, you're good.
I always appreciate that, like, from the start in confessional, pronouns were always listed. That was like the biggest thing for me when I started watching. I was like, I see y'all, thank you. Because a lot of these shows, CBS, I'm looking at all of your programming, won't do that. So I appreciate Penthouse doing that. But regardless, we have a competition. A competition happens, and Nathan is a VIP. And it looked like they finished really quickly. I don't know if that was real time, Audrey, or like...
It was pretty fast. It was fast. Okay.
I mean, Austin pretty much guaranteed. He's like, I did this. I know this. This is going to be an easy breezy puzzle. Nathan is a good, like, he's in that zone, right? He was in that zone, so he's going to listen to everything. And Austin just did the best job of explaining what needed to be done. So it didn't seem like it was a long competition, even if it was edited. It just didn't seem long. So
it was fast, very fast.
Good,
cool. So Austin and Nathan win. Great. Nathan is the VIP. Austin gets a special advantage. Did we ever find out what the advantage is? I don't think we did, right? No, didn't think
not
so.
in this episode.
Not in this episode. So we have no idea what Austin's advantage is.
We find out about a lot of other ones, though. We'll get there very shortly.
Yes, let's talk about that. Let's go into that.
So we got the rankings. Obviously, Nathan is a VIP. Julia was put into the guest list by Edmund, but probably would have ended up there regardless.
Yes, I agree. I think she would have.
It would have been some combination of Austin,
Robin,
Julia,
or Julia.
and Robin. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been one of those two. Would have been in the guest list.
So we get Julia in second. The other member of the guest list is Bestie Austin. Yay!
As he should. I mean,
we love to see
he
it.
Would be VIP without him, so that makes sense.
Right. And he explained that as well.
And then we see Mona, and then we see Robin. And then this is where we got the final six. And he's like, why shouldn't I put you in the bottom? And this was pretty much just not even consequential. Because I think our bestie knew exactly what he was going to do, but he wanted people to expose their games. And he ends up picking Laurel to take that final safe spot, with then the bottom 5 consisting of, in order, Edmund, Jada, Nick, Phaedra, and Xena in the basement.
Dun, dun, dun.
Kind of sick, if you
Truly
ask me.
such a Xena in the bottom is just shocking on so many levels.
Yeah,
I think for anyone, it's just shocking.
I just say, like, seeing that, I was like, oh, kind of sick. This bottom 5 is gross, but I understood sort of why he made the bottom 5 decision that he made, but it was still sick. It was just like, oh, so gross. But Xena in the basement still don't make sense to me. It never made sense. It didn't make sense to me when I watched it. It doesn't make sense to me now. I hadn't talked to Nathan, so I don't know what his reason was, but it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I would have literally switched Xena with Edmund at that time, but I don't know the relationship that Nathan has with Edmund. But apparently, it was something else that they have.
So
there are conversations that I want to get into after we find out who the switch is, and then after some other things. Because Nathan kind of gave insight to things, but let's continue.
Yeah, okay. I have some thoughts on that as well, so we can get there. But first, we have to talk about the switch. There's a beautiful woman back on our screen, and Keaton, and they have to decide. That sounded shadier than I wanted it to be. Sorry, Keaton.
Not forget your winners.
Well, Keaton's not a beautiful woman. So,
all right.
But
look, it's a half a shade, maybe not a full shade.
But yes, you and Keaton are doing the switch decisions, and we find out Edmund left you a note. Now, when did this happen? We did not see any of this transpire.
So the note moment happened. The buzzer was going off, everyone was going back to their seats, and then there was a moment where we were passing by, and at this moment, towards the end of the round, I was just trying to warn people who I liked if I thought that they were in trouble. And so I think I was going towards him to warn him, but then he was trying to pass the note, and like it was the craziest thing, because I was like, what is happening? Because it was like the type of thing where I think we were like, I don't know if it was like going in for a hug or kind of what the situation was, but then all of a sudden I feel something in my hand, and I thought fully he was giving me an advantage to be like, LOL, I'm staying.
I shit my pants. I've been like, yeah. No.
It wasn't that. And so, because in my head, I was like, oh my God, what if this is that? And so I was trying to read it super fast to just like have an idea. Because I obviously wouldn't want to go home if it was that, but it wasn't. And so on the note, it was like, oh fuck, I should have brought the note, because I still have it somewhere, but I should have brought it for the pod. But it's like, it says like, I need the switch, help, I'm in trouble, something along those lines. Yeah. And in my head, I was like, where the hell did he get a pen? Like, I didn't know anything, but maybe it was like he could have had it in a pocket and then have just like tear off a piece of paper. But I just appreciated it so much, because up until that moment, nobody was playing the game with me. No one was making me a part of anything, and not in like an emotional like, oh my God, I was exiled. Just like, it just wasn't happening for me. Sure. And so I just felt good because I felt included in that moment. And of course, like, I just really did enjoy Edmund's personality. We are both Leos. We are both from Dallas. So I was like, yes, like, let me try to help this person out. And so going into the switch conversation, I feel like I am very good. And I don't say this to like sound any type of way. I'm very good at getting what I want. And so I knew going into that switch conversation that I knew that I knew I would be able to finesse the end results that I wanted with that switch conversation, especially I think since Julia was safe and we saw that. And so I think seeing the competition really helped in my favor for getting my ultimate goal for sure. And so going into it, I also was a lot more aware of like the dynamics in the game, I think, than I'm assuming what was shown. I feel like I can come off very delusional, and I am to a certain extent, but it's like I was still also very aware of everything that was happening. Like, it was clear that Laurel, Mona, and Xena were kind of like the top entities in the house, with Edmund and Nick kind of like on each side of them. And that was kind of like the power in the house at the moment. But knowing in going into my final round that they were trying to join together some girls situation and throw Edmund under the bus, and then also the bullshit about how Nick and Edmund knew each other, which it's interesting that there were people who actually knew each other, but of course, specifically Edmund and Nick were the ones that were called out for that. And the people who actually knew each other, at least for where I was, it was never brought up. It was never brought up, not one moment. But I digress. And so I knew obviously Edmund and Nick were the ones who were kind of like on the fringe of that power five. Power five. And so going into it, I knew that Laurel had some weird thing against Edmund. And so knowing that Nathan won that challenge and that Laurel was going to be safe, because Nathan and Laurel were also very buddy-buddy. Knowing that, I knew of Laurel's power, and at this point, I'm just petty, and so I wanted to make sure that I could do what I needed.
Flush it out.
Yeah, I wanted to flush out her power, because I knew that she was going to be arrogant enough to feel like she didn't need it for herself. And so if I gave that to Edmund, I knew Edmund was going to be in the bottom 5 no matter what. So I knew if I gave it to Edmund, she would be arrogant enough to use it to switch him back. And then in my head, I was like, and if for whatever reason he's not in the bottom, then he just has it, and I'm glad that he has it over anyone else. And so my goal was to get that power away from Laurel, because then if she needs it in the future, I can credit myself for her not having it. So it's like, and it was just I just felt like I really came into my own in jury. I was like, this is where I'm making my moves. Like, Audrey, this is so fun.
I do have a question though.
Yeah.
So did you guys pick the switch before or after you found out who won the competition?
It was after.
Okay. So that kind of plays like a
fully.
So seeing Nathan, you're like, okay, we need to do Edmund, because we all know Nathan isn't like really like tied in so much with Edmund. Edmund's gonna make so that makes a lot more sense, because I was like, did she just have a hunch? Did she like have a third like psychic eye? Like, but that makes so much more sense.
I will say the only other I wanted to give it to Edmund before I saw the challenge, so I will say that as well. The only person I would have considered was Julia, because I just love her. She's just so cool. She's so fun. And so I really do I just love Julia. And so she was the only other person I would have considered.
But since you already know she got the blue ball, she was already okay.
Well, I just want to say kudos to you, Audrey, because mission accomplished. You did what you was put out to do, and not only was Edmund, you gave him the switch, he switched out, and like you wanted, Laurel, being who she is, decided I don't need it for myself. I will use it on Mona to switch it back, and I was very shocked by that, me personally, because like any power I get, I'm using it for me only.
Oh, I'm not using it for a single other soul.
I'm sorry, I'm not saving somebody else.
Especially people I just met, I'm like,
unless I'm guaranteed safety for an extended period of time, then I consider it maybe.
Only time I'm considering it is the last point I can use it. Like this is the last round. You can use this, and you're safe. So. Now I'll use it for somebody else because I'm safe and I have no other, it'll be useless next round. But up until then, no, baby, I will not be using it on anybody else because I don't know when the other shoe is going to drop and I am the one in trouble. But Laurel did what she did. She switched Mona, which caused chaos ensued. And Edmund was like, see, I told you. Y'all see what it is? Oops, I'm too loud. I'm already too loud. But sorry.
Not waking up Tanisha. Not waking up Tanisha.
I'm going to get in trouble. Sorry, Tanisha. But yeah. But Edmund was like, you see what's happening. Y'all see the group that's protecting each other and looking out for each other. And all their cards are on the table now, which is what you wanted, which is what he wanted, which is what Nathan wanted. And so everybody's cards were exposed this round due to the switch, due to the switch back and due to the placing of everybody in the orders that they went.
Mm-hmm.
It was chaos. It was people were upset. Evan was calling them out, and people were getting mad about that. But I'm like, well, we mad because the facts are the facts are the facts. You used your power on Mona, which lets us know you and Mona are closer than what you wanted to lead us on to believe. So everybody saw that. Jada, who already had a thing with Mona, who was like, I don't really trust her. I don't feel like this alliance that we built is solid or is real.
Mm-hmm.
And Mona was proving herself to Jada over and over again by doing things like not picking her to come out. And now this, Laurel is picking you to it just all played into the hand that you all wanted to deal that round. And it was perfect. It was really good gameplay on your part being in the jury, Edmund's part for being the switch, Nathan's part for being the VIP and setting it up where now the alliances are going after each other. It just worked. Like, this was good game round. Like, if we ever wanted game in this game, because like you said before, everybody's been playing it safe. It's been predictable. It was very much like we see what's going to happen. We saw the John Matt thing. We saw all the people who liked each other. We saw the way it was going. It was very predictable. This round was very much unpredictable. Very much a lot of gameplay involved in this round alone. So I was very much intrigued and entertained by this round. Kudos to this round. I don't know what's going on. And if this is what is going to happen from this round to the next round, baby, drop that episode, please.
And what's funnier is literally Laurel's the one who used the power, and it's Mona and Edmund going back and forth, and Laurel's like, okay, y'all go, okay, let me just do my business over here.
Right.
Shut my ass
She opened her mouth enough in the first round. She needed to rest her voice.
I mean, it's just, I don't see, but see, that's the thing. This is my thing with Laurel. Laura is coming off very much unscathed in all this stuff that she has her hand involved in, and nobody is messing with her. From round one, she was the literal VIP and set everything up. And what happened? Nobody wanted to come after her since then.
An update from our last episode. This is the first round. Laurel was eligible for elimination.
And you know what happened? She was not even in the bottom.
She was still pretty. She wasn't switched out. Edmund was like,
she wasn't switched out. She ain't get put in the bottom.
That's what confused me about Edmund when he said something about Mona Lisa being like a good, like, I can't remember what he said, but I was like, Mona hasn't done anything.
I mean, but see, this is the thing. I don't think she's did anything like huge and extreme, like her moves weren't big. But Mona socially has been doing what Mona needs to do to get on in everybody's,
But do you think she's a bigger threat than Laurel?
No, I don't. No. But the thing is, Laurel has had power. Mona has not really had much power in this game besides being a switch once or twice, and then going to being a defender,
and then eliminating Keaton,
and then being a defender. And so it's like, she hasn't really been like VIP. Like, if you're the VIP and you have that power to place people and do stuff, Laurel's done it twice. So I think people feel like maybe they'll have a better shot of getting into Laurel's good graces, and it might work instead of getting into Mona Lisa's good graces. Like, Mona Lisa ain't gonna do nothing. She ain't doing nothing. She's just getting powers that people give her. At least Laurel's earning powers. So I'm gonna stick with the person earning the power than the person who's getting the powers.
And that was a tough. Edmund being a switch was tough because you have Mona who, social, Laurel who's social has one stuff, and Robin who. So it's like anyone you really switch out with, it's like kind of like, oh, if I switch this person out, am I sure that they could get voted out and then not come after me? So I think maybe that's why he chose Mona, because maybe
him and Robin was just partners, so he wasn't gonna do Robin, which and it made no sense for him to do Robin. And
Laurel seems like she's connected with. Laurel doesn't seem like someone you switch with, she's gonna get out, especially since there are people still in there who are less not connected. Yeah, less connected than she is.
And see, and the thing is, knowing Laurel had a power, like reverse the switch. Second, switching Laurel with what Edmund wouldn't have did anything. If you go switch Laurel, you want to switch her to the basement so she can get out. You don't want to switch her to the top, the fifth, the top position in the bottom 5, because that ain't gonna do nothing. She's still gonna have a chance to come back out. If I'm gonna switch her, I'm switching her in the bottom, in the basement, so she can go. I'm not gonna waste a switch on somebody just to put her up at the top, and then she switch herself right back out, and then that's another enemy we've just made with each other for no reason at all.
Mona just seemed like the easier. We're just gonna do this. I just like the reasoning behind it. I was just like, but now I kind of see it. But like, I sort of been like, because you don't want to say, I don't want to switch Laura out because she's connected with everyone. You know what I mean? Like that just puts a target on your back. So he did what he did what he needed to do,
but it worked.
It worked beautifully.
It worked beautifully.
All because of Audrey.
And Keaton had to agree to it.
All because of Audrey and Keaton, and then Edmund being smart enough to pass Audrey that note. Let's keep it gangster. That was the move. That was the move that made all of this happen, because Nathan saying that to Audrey was kind of tacky, and it wouldn't go work no better. So Nathan needed to win that VIP, but Edmund sliding that note, keeping it above, not making it look like, girl, since you're going home here, it was like, no, help me out if you go. I just need some help.
Plus, I said it was he took the initiative to do something out of the box and hand her thing. That's why when it was said and I saw it, and I'm like, I hope we don't find out next episode, kind of like a Willem thing where they're like, Edmund, you have gone against the rules.
Yes.
We're out. And so I was like,
could you imagine?
It could happen.
True. It could.
I just hope it doesn't, because that is smart, and people maybe get mad over it because they didn't think about it first.
They didn't think about it first.
I will say I have talked to many a cast on here, and a lot of people were doing things they weren't supposed to do. So don't nobody come for Ed over the note, because a lot of people were talking when they shouldn't have been talking when cameras were off, and this, that, whoop, whoop, whoop. So
you know what's terrible? I am a horrible whisperer. I can't whisper for the life of me. I cannot whisper for the life of me. No! All of those people were talking when the cameras were down, during the car rides to and from locations, when the music was turned up, people were going right into people's ears, chit-chatting away. I have bad hearing, and so I just I really am kind of fucked over in this. I can't whisper to save my life. I speak at one volume at all times, really. So that part was so wild. Eventually, though, they do split people up during. So that comes. Eventually, they do split people up when it's the cameras are off. Thank God.
Okay. So yes. Edmund switches, Laurel switches back, and then the defender is chosen, and Xena chooses Mona.
Then we find out. Wait.
And then Jules pops on our screen again. I was like, what are you doing here, love?
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it was.
I forgot you didn't see that.
So it was explanation of Nathan's +1.
Okay, but it was weird how it happened, because it was all of a sudden we were watching Mona get chosen as the defender, and then the next thing we know, Jules is now on the screen talking about her +1 power, and we were like, I'm like, why is Jules here? Yeah. And then
I'm like, where did they come from?
Where did Jules come from? Right? Didn't they go out pre-jury? Okay, but then we see Jules leaving with her power. Jules leaves with the power. Then they come back for the pre-jury buyback, and then Jules loses the buyback, and Jules is gone again. So the cards goes back into the game.
Okay,
and so then Nathan finds the +1 card. I was like, "Ooh, y'all could have explained that one a little bit different."
Well, and they showed.
I was like, "Is this like a hay fever dream?"
No, it all connected, because in one of the previous episodes, there's just this random shot of that
card.
Of that fake plant with a card on it. And at the time, I was like, what is this fake plant shot that we're getting in the middle of absolutely nothing? And then it all comes full circle, because now we know Nathan has a +1 card, so he can accompany the defender to their decision. He decides to use the card now, and then they decide to make good TV.
Well, it was long, but it was good.
It
I
was
found it
long.
to,
Yeah.
I found it to be I think they drug it out like a few minutes too long for me, but like it was nice to see. I I don't know. Nathan used the plus one card. They go into the room, and Mona's like, what do you want me to do? Should I pick power? Do I do the safety?" And Mona already in her mind made up that she was going for power. Already made up in her mind she was going for power. There was no debate in her mind. She knew it, but she needed to figure out a way to do it and not have Xena upset with her. And so now we go into how do we devise this plan, this brilliant plan, so Xena will feel blindsided, but not by her, but by Nathan. So Nathan is going to be the one to take the fall for this plus one, this plan of her taking power. So now they have to figure. So this is where I felt like it went on too long. Like we didn't need to know about how everything. Well, I'm like rock paper scissors. They were going to do that, okay. But then we went into Mona trying to figure out how is this going to benefit me, Nathan. I'm like, why do you want to know that, sis? When you literally came in the room saying I'm going to pick power. You weren't thinking about the benefits then. If Nathan wasn't there, you still would have had to pick the power and still would have had to face Xena all by yourself. But now you just have to figure out how to include Nathan in this plan. And
someone's trying to take the fall for what you're about to do.
Right.
Like,
And
that's
Nathan's
how it benefits you.
And why would he though? Why would he take the fall for that? It's like we are in the part where people are voting, trying to decide who they're going to vote for in the end. And so why would he take this risk when he doesn't need to?
It's an
And here's the
unnecessary
thing:
risk.
it's not Nathan's decision, right? It's still Mona's. So if Mona came down and was like, "We did," I'm like, "Bitch, Xena,
You lying?"
Or so we already know Mona picked power. We already, Xena's better than me because I'm like, listen here, you fake ass bitch. This is that. You a lying ass bitch. You better hope. I'd have been like, I'm poisoning the jury, bitch. You're gonna be next. I would have not have gotten walked up and gave my little hugs like Xena. I would have fucking popped off.
Yeah,
because,
me too.
Especially since they both said they were their number ones. So this little whatever, bitch, and I chose you, and you want to say. First of all, I give Nathan his props. He gets his flowers. He was very convincing. Mona.
Please tell your analogy from earlier. Please give your analogy from earlier, Tajja.
Nathan was very, Emmys, very say like Viola Davis getting up there giving a beautiful speech. Mona was literally like Miranda Cosgrove at the fucking Kids' Choice Award for Nickelodeon or some shit.
Oh my god.
The Nickelodeon Awards, period.
I was like, what is I'm like, y'all didn't want to practice this? Mona, you didn't want to practice this? You should have messed your makeup up and had some tears or been like, oh my god, I can cry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do.
Or also just own it. Everyone in there was game players for sure. And everyone in there would, I think, the option to just own the game would have been more respected than the theater of it all.
It was, but it wasn't good. It was very off Broadway.
Very off.
At McDonald's, you get a free Broadway
community theater.
Community theater, yes. High school drama.
Especially when they said it, and then Mona was like, "Well, we did rock paper scissors. You're messed up for that. You're." But I'm like, baby, it's too late. Xena already knows. What did Bianca Del Rio when she played Judge Judy? What'd she say? Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.
It's raining, period. I mean, because this is the thing. I just didn't understand why that was a thing. I feel like if you go make the move, own your move.
Yes.
And
because you're not going to get Xena's jury vote. With that bullshit ass story. But if you're like, you know what? Yeah, I did what I had to do. There's only two saves. I don't know with all these people, if I'm in the bottom, am I going to know that Xena, it just...
I would have owned it, and because Xena is the third juror, third, she will have time to decompress, detach, and think about things rationally and game-wise. If I would understand if you did this to somebody who was right before the winner is announced and you the final three, and you do that to somebody, yeah, that you done lost their vote. but she's the third juror. She will have time to process all of this and say, okay, all right, it was a move. It sucked that it happened to be, but let me think about this. Was it a good game move for her? Yes, probably, maybe. I don't know. But I don't think doing this is going to make her want to vote for you any more than before. Like, no, you were her number one. Y'all said it. We both number one. I got you, you got me. And then the second she in the bottom, you done flip. Like, what number one are you talking about?
And Xena was ride or die too. Xena was fully ride or die for Mona.
Know what it reminds me of? It was a Big Brother All Stars when David had won that competition and saved himself, and like nobody knew, and he was like had that fake ass tear, and everyone's like, "Bro,
What?
Get up! Get up!"
Thank you for reminding me that man was on Big Brother All Stars because I forgot.
It was unnecessary, but whatever. Waste of space. But we move. We will not. We fully move.
So unfortunately, Xena has been eliminated. So beautiful, Xena. I'm a stan.
Absolutely.
It seems like such an alpha female dominator, and it just sucks that you got snaked out
unnecessarily. I think it was very unnecessary.
When she walked into jury, again, like she was inconsolable. I think she was fully in shock. If she hugged people at the end, I think she was just in genuine shock because like the whole time
Mona. I'd have swung on her.
She was in shock.
I think she hugged everyone but Nathan. Is what it was.
Yeah, she was definitely in shock. She walked in, and again, like my jaw hit the floor. I was like, "Oh shit!" Like here we go. And like, but again, when you see someone like fully sobbing, like I feel like very quickly you jump into like, "Oh my god!" Like come here, like let me console you,
regardless of how you feel. Like,
totally. And Xena is just so cool. And just so nice. And so just, again, even though we weren't working together at any point in the game, like there was literally no bad blood at all. And so just her crying. And at the start of her coming into jury, it seemed like she did believe the rock, paper, scissors thing at first. And of course, since I'm like hearing it, but again, I think it was in shock because as I'm hearing it, I'm like, but of course, she like I'm just trying to console her at this point. So I was like, we'll circle back. And so afterwards I was like, so wait, describe to me exactly what happened again. And so she did, and I was like, in that moment, like you could see like she was like, wait, like oh shit, like you're right. And so like it was very like we had that moment in jury too of just being like, I don't know if that was the but the whole time she was like, they snaked me, and just like over and over again, they snaked me, and I was like, this is rough because she really was so ride or die for Mona.
Which is it's crazy, it's sad, but we did see a little piece of that when Xena was leaving. She was like, they're fake. Everybody's fake. I can't trust it. They all fake. And I feel like that was a moment of her just still trying to process all of this. It was shock. Yeah. Like that moment. I mean, we've all been in a game where we felt like betrayed by somebody who we trusted. And in that exact moment, like, give me a minute, because I need to take this minute to, because right now I'm pissed. I'm pissed at all of it. I hate you all. And so I think her taking that time in the jury house with you all and being able to think about it and like, wait, hold on, that story is not adding up. Like the math is definitely not math.
It gives me the vine. Wait a second, who are you?
Like it was just because like I would, it would probably be, everybody would be like, wait, hold on, wait. You mean to tell me the person who went in there as defender gave their decision away to the VIP? No, because they're the defender. The defender makes the final decision.
The VIP don't get the power.
Not the +1.
By the way, I love that Xena is like, turns to production at one point in the decision in the room and is like, can he give me his VIP necklace? And then producer off camera, no.
Yep, Mona.
Who did I say?
Zena.
I meant Mona.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
Mental health matters.
But
Mona
yeah.
turns to producer, and the producer's just like, no.
Mm.
And I'm like, it gave me very magic conch shell from SpongeBob. No.
No.
It gave me that. But yes,
yeah.
we lose Xena.
Cheers.
One of my Arizonans is gone, and I'm sad.
So many Arizona people also. So
we
many
love
Arizona.
it. We stand.
Like, oh my
we
God.
stand. We stand.
Do we stand that?
Yes, because the only good representation we have for Arizona people on TV, now we have Dali. But before that, it was Hayden from BB12. Give me something, Lana.
Well, I mean, I live in Alabama, so
fair. But now we have Dali, so it's fine.
Well, we have Ruben Studdard from American Idol. Long time,
that's fine.
Period. Okay.
But yes, that was the first half of round 5, episode 7 of the Penthouse season 4. Maybe we'll be back next week with episodes to discuss. I don't know.
Who knows?
I want to see how this vote turns out. Because
I do
it's
too.
Edmund, Nick, Jada, and Phaedra, right?
Yep.
Correct.
It's a whirlwind. I'll say that. It's a whirlwind.
Because she knows, Audrey knows. But Lana and Logan, who do you guys think is going to be voted out?
Edmund.
I think, I don't know why I think Jada. Like, I don't know.
No, not Jada.
Well, because
I can't lose Xena and Jada in one round. No.
I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I feel like they have the votes to get Edmund out.
I think they do too.
I'm thinking of who's voting. Let's see.
Maybe Jada is like a
wait. Do the 5 vote? Do the 5 vote? Do they all vote, right?
Everyone
okay,
but
so
the VIP votes, right?
Everybody but the VIP. Okay.
I'm trying to think. I think the VIP might vote too.
I think
could
the
be
VIP votes.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so
you would think I would know. But literally, when I tell you, I didn't know anything going into this game. I was like, yeah, let's do it. The first round.
Honestly,
round, I was like, oh, great! I'm so glad we don't have to do 2 eliminations anymore during the round. Come to find out, you do 2 eliminations every round. I was like, wait,
well, that's
what
unique.
is happening?
That's unique to the Penthouse format as well. Is like most games don't do 2 eliminations in one round.
Yeah, I thought it was a twist.
While Lana is counting votes, I would like to say if Nick was the only person in the game to give you the credit you deserve, Audrey, the cup is here to give you the credit you deserve because going in having never played a game like this before and slaying it the way you did, it's just unfortunate because you just ended up in the wrong circumstances, which I think all three of us can resonate with that in some game or another. So like, kudos to you, my dear.
Thank you so much.
You did that. And
I take so much pride in being Josh's winner pick. When he told me that, I was like, oh my God, like that's so nice. Thank you so much. So that made me feel really good.
I don't even remember who mine was. I'm going to be honest. I think it was Robin. Shocker. I think it was Robin.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to go. I've been counting. I still think, but I think it might be 5-4, whatever it is.
I think it's gonna be close. It's definitely gonna be close.
Yeah, I think it's 5-4 because I feel like, but see, and this is the thing because I'm saying this because I feel like Julia and Nathan and Robin possibly will vote to keep Edmund there, and Austin will possibly vote. But see, Julia has said stuff about Edmund needing to go at some point too. So I don't know if Julia will want to keep Edmund there. But
Nathan did just make the deal with Mona to vote out Edmund in the second half of the round. So
it's all back and forth. It's up in the air to me. I feel like between Edmund and maybe Phaedra, because it's like
I could see Phaedra.
I feel like people wouldn't have that connection or any real reason to keep Phaedra more than they would have to. But I feel like it'd be more to vote out Edmund instead of.
But she's also not a threat at this point.
Exactly.
So very just
exactly.
Well, and okay, so I was gonna come back to this. When Nathan and Mona were in the Defender Lounge, wherever that is, Nathan said something about a trio, which was who was it? Getting rid of Xena got rid of one of the someone in the trio.
Breaking up Laurel,
Xena, Laurel, and Mona.
Xena, Laurel, Mona. Okay, so the next trio would be
Edmund, Nick, and Phaedra. That was the other trio.
Now,
although Nick,
is this
Nathan is leaving out,
people are like, oh yeah, they're obviously working together. I mean, I know they've been done saying Edmund and Nick were working together.
Look, which is funny to me when it's the trio that nobody wanted to talk about. That Nathan be trying to bring up trios, and Nathan ain't talking about his own trio with Robin, Julia, and himself. But that's okay. I'm like, you keep talking about other trios, and you.
Which I mean, it's smart. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
I ain't talking about him either, but I'm like, everybody else is not even mentioning that trio. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody's talking about
Robin, Julia, and Austin all know each other outside of
Austin and Robin knew each other outside of this house. And I'm like, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But we gonna bring up that Nick and Edmund know each other. But
and apparently. Josh is thrown into that too. Didn't you hear?
Oh yeah,
we heard.
Apparently it's Josh.
Did we hear?
Nick,
did we hear? Did we hear?
Oh my God. I'm confused, like how they would know that. I mean, unless there were conversations had that
probably
knew Josh.
Probably.
I'm just like, I don't know.
There's a lot we're not seeing, so probably
it's a lot of stuff that I feel like. What does it matter? Who knows who? Play your game, and if you play your right game, it don't matter if I know you or not. I'm just trying to play the game.
It's only a duo. It's only two people.
It's two people,
and there's so many other people. I'd have been like, I don't know. It was just
I know Lana, and I voted for her before. It's fine.
Same. I know a lot of people who I vote for and kick out of a game. It doesn't matter. It's a game.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of the game. Is we're all trying to reach the same goal. So just because I know you and we besties, don't mean I'm gonna keep you at every stage of the game.
If you're not good for my game right now, sorry, bestie. Love you.
Sorry, bestie. But I love you. I'll talk to you afterwards. We'll DM each other later. I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I cannot wait for that part. I'm really excited to see who
who makes it back.
Yeah,
I will say I'm like one of the only cast members who doesn't have like an insane crying, like on-site crying moment. And again, like I am I am an emotional girl. I feel very deeply, but these people were really like going in, and it's so funny because there was a moment so it was Keaton and I are eliminated, and they made us how the house was set up. One of the houses, there was a house that we ate lunch at, and in that house there was like a below, what is it called? Not a dungeon. I called it the dungeon. So it was a dungeon that they made us go into because they were like, you guys aren't allowed to eat with anyone else. So whenever they come in, you guys have to go down here. So me and Keaton are playing like a card game that Keaton brought to the thing. And like, it was nice because I was able to bond with Keaton, like he was just trying to cover me the entire game. But I was like, oh, you're not so bad. So there was a moment that all of a sudden, everyone was like singing karaoke. Everyone was having a great time. And me and Keaton are like, what the fuck? Like, this is
so mean.
I think it was Edmund. He was like, yeah, everybody, this is what it's about. And then literally shit hit the fan after that moment. And we were not saying this is what it's all about after that. But I always think back to that because it's like truly everything from here is just shock after shock. Like so many of the moments I was like, bro, what the fuck is happening? Like, this is crazy.
Audrey basically saying she had to walk so everyone else could run.
Everyone else could run.
Exactly.
Thank you, Audrey. Queen. We love that.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us, Audrey. Coming back, being the first returning guest to the Cup. We know you'll be back for some drag related program at some point in the future. I know that to be sure.
Yes.
All of
I would just like to say I feel like Audrey is a great mix here. So, anytime Audrey sighting.
I am down. This is so fun. I love talking shit. I love all that stuff. So it's so fun to me. I can say even someone who wrote something that wasn't very kind on my letter block after everything was done, but I'll say that closer to the end of the game. I was like, girl, what? What is the point? It was very mean, but we can get there whenever that happens.
This is what we're talking about. We did we promise piping hot tea? Piping hot tea and shade all around people. That is what the cup is about. So if you want more of that, you need to stay tuned and come watch us every week for all the shows that we do.
Yes.
And follow us.
Follow all of our links will be below, including Nathan, including Sam. All of Audrey's links will be below, so make sure to check her out as well.
I mean, if you're not following any of us, I don't even know what your problem is.
What are you doing?
What are you doing with your life?
Honest to God, if you're not following any of us, how did you get here?
Honestly,
genuinely,
where did you come
how did you get
right? Who are you stalking? Because it's not us, it's
right?
Someone's
Which
like
one
for,
of
like,
us?
online Penthouse, like some, and they're like, "Oh, what is this? Oh, this is a show. Okay." Well, even if you did subscribe, like,
subscribe and like and hit all podcasts.
Tell your neighbors, tell your family members, tell your priest. You know,
everybody.
Not the priest.
Someone on a bus.
Somebody got to watch. We take them all.
Your bus driver.
Your garbage man, your UPS
that weird
driver.
girl you sit next to in class if you go to in-person classes.
Come on, weird girls.
Your gynecologist. We want to.
We want them all.
Yes. Yes, and we have so much content on the horizon as well. We've got Australian Survivor, we've got Celebrity Big Brother, we've got Drag Race UK versus the World, which Audrey, I think I'm gonna have you on for that.
Yes, please, I'm so excited for that. Yes.
So with that, besties, thank you so much for joining us for part 3 of our Penthouse review. We'll be back maybe next Wednesday. If there are episodes, we will be here to talk about it and spill all of the tea. So with that, cheers. I think Tajja and I are the only ones with cups. So Tajja, cheers. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Are you still here?
What
What are you doing?
What are they doing?
We're done.